And poll question is working today. Hot diggity dog. 2 for 2. Got me a twofer today. Hey, look at this twofer. Okay. First thing we're going to do is you will need note-taking materials, physically or virtually. The choice is yours. However you learn best, that is what is important here today. We are going to be discussing Be Coachable, but before we get into that, we're going to go ahead and take our deep cleansing breaths. 3 inhales and exhales on your own. So inhale, then exhale, inhale, then exhale, inhale, then exhale, and woosah. We're letting the brain know that we want to give it what it needs today so that it can give us what we need for the rest of the day. So on your own, go ahead and take your 3 deep breaths. I am Dr. Donna Louise Thomas-Rodgers, daughter of Leslie Darnell Thomas, granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Evelyn II, and great-granddaughter of Levi Thomas. Welcome to your morning mental workout. Today's topic is Be Coachable. And for those of you who are watching the replay or joining for the first time, what has taken place is I gave an overview of the 74 principles of real leadership. I then went into great detail to explain the principles of real leadership and define them down to each individual word in the principles of real leadership. Now is the tell me portion of learning about the principles of real leadership. And now we're in the show me phase. And show me is me explaining and describing to you what it means to be personally accountable, and the most important part, the attachment to the brain. The attachment to the brain. So last week or earlier this week, we started with neurogenesis, which is the creation of new neurons. And then we moved on to neuroplasticity, which is wiring your brain to create neural pathways in order for you to learn how to do anything, any skill development. And then we talked about neurocoachability, which is neurogenesis, neuroplasticity, combined with the 74 principles of real leadership and the theory of personal accountability, which is PA plus 45 degrees equals B, which is your best. And then we top the week off with working memory. And I'd just like to give you some reminders of working memory, because we're going to be using our working memory to learn the connection of the brain to be coachable. And so your working memory is the brain's ability to hold and manipulate info temporarily while performing cognitive tasks like reasoning, learning, and comprehension. It's a core part of the executive function, and it plays a vital role in decision making, problem solving, and focusing your attention. Not only that, but I have been saying this, and I'm so happy that I was correct, because once I started teaching and learning about the brain, or learning and teaching about the brain last October, once I found out about the executive function and working memory, I kept saying, wow, working memory is important, it's important, it's important. And here's why it's important. Your working memory is engaged in dozens, if not hundreds. Your working memory is engaged dozens, if not hundreds of times per hour during every waking hour of the day. That's dozens, if not hundreds of times per hour of your wake hours every day, day in and day out. So you take the age that you are, multiply that by 365, and now you take that math and do the hours, 16 to 18 awake hours a day over those thousands and thousands of days. And that's how much you are using or not using your working memory. So whether you're brushing your teeth, cooking, attending a meeting, your brain is continually working. It's using its working memory to bridge the gap between perception, action, and reasoning. So your working memory is working. And good morning, Lola. It doesn't stop at 9 to 5. It's working all the time. So if you find yourself not being able to understand what I'm saying, not being able to navigate through your day, it's not the isms, it's not the biases, it's your working memory is working part-time. It might even be unemployed. And that's 1000% on you. The final thing I'd like to say before we actually get into the information for today is today's Real Leader Brain, and the PA for today was brain. I thought I did brain. I haven't. So this was great. So I looked up brain today on Grok, and here is the information that was given to me. The brain, the central organ of the human nervous system, responsible for thought, memory, temperature regulation, and many other vital processes. Here's the important part. It's made up of 86 billion neurons and functions as the command center of the body. And I know I say that the executive function is the CEO of the brain, but the brain is the command center of your body. So you actually have a command center, and it has 86 billion neurons. So when you tell me, or you tell yourself, because you're lying to yourself, you say it to me, but I hear bullshit. You got 86 billion neurons. So you have the ability to wire your brain to use the 74 principles of real leadership so you can be a bad mofo. You have unlimited. 86 billion is a lot on a lot on a lot. Okay? So you actually have the mental capacity to wire your brain to hold yourself personally accountable day in and day out. You have the neuropathic ability and capability to learn how your brain functions. So when you say I'm overwhelmed, I'm tired, I have ADHD, I have anxiety, I have autism, and all that, okay, cool, got it, roger that. But you got 86 billion neurons. You actually have it. It's not like I'm saying, hey, invest. I got this project. I need $1 million from you. You go, oh, doc, I don't know you like that. I ain't got $1 million to be investing in you. You got 86 billion neurons. You actually can do this. You got 86 billion neurons. They can connect, they can talk, they can create synapses, they can create neural pathways. They actually can. So you actually have it. You walking around with 86 billion neurons every day, all day. What you doing with your neurons? What you doing with yours? What you doing? Right? You ain't even got to go to the brain bank. Hey, yeah. So I was thinking about, you know what I'm saying? I got this new project, so I need to borrow some neurons. I'm going to pay y'all back, compounded interest. I get it. No, you don't have to go to the brain bank. You are the brain bank. You got a command center at your disposal all day, every single day. So now you can understand when I say you got some excuses and you excuse and lying, which is reasons wrapped up in excuses. Good morning, Regina. And then you lying using excuses. You got 86 billion neurons. I don't want to hear it. The 74 principles of real leadership, 86 billion neurons. 74 principles of real leadership, 86 billion neurons. I know that number is like that percentage is decimal point to the thousands, hundred thousands place. 74. Even if you just multiply them, I think Kevin did the math the other day. It was 2,000 and some change. 86 billion, 86 billion neurons. So yeah, you can do this. So if you're choosing not to, just say it. Hey, Dr. Donna, I'm choosing not to use my 86 billion neurons to learn how to use my brain to become a bad mofo. Go ahead and say it. Be honest is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. But don't ever, never, ever, ever again tell me, no, I see, because the isms, it ain't even enough biases in the world. It ain't 86 billion biases and isms in the world. Just the math, it just doesn't math that way. 86 billion ways that you can connect those bad boys and create neural pathways. Yeah, that part. So if you don't want to do it, just say, I don't want to do it, doc. Okay, I appreciate that. Go ahead. I understand that. But do not say you can't do it. You got more neurons than money in the bank, than investments. Okay, there's only a couple people on the billionaires list that's worth $86 billion. It's a small, they got, people got 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 20. But you get to 20, 30, 40, 50 billion, and them numbers get real small. Ain't nobody competing. Okay, I got 86 billion. Ain't nobody tied on the billionaires list with 86 billion. I could be wrong. No, you can check it out, look it up. We used to follow the billionaires list, but you got 86 billion. So let's use 74 of them. And today, we're just going to use a couple. How about that? You got 5 on it. Okay. You're just going to use a couple of those neurons and create doggone synaptic connectivity so you can have these neural pathways. That's neurons. So now think about how many neural pathways you can actually create. Just saying. It's not going to work. Nobody can say, hey, doc, you know what I'm saying? Because I couldn't read in school. I don't give a fuck about that. You got 86 billion neurons. You got 86 billion neurons. Okay, my Jiffy page is only at 17.5 billion views, and that's a lot. So you start thinking about that, and then you sit down and say why you can't. Okay, so today we're talking about being coachable. All right, so as you can see, look at this. Isn't this amazing? Like now you get to see what part of your brain you're using for what I'm talking about. And I had a discussion with somebody online. He hasn't responded yet in TikTok, but your brain is amazing. And now you can actually see the parts of the brain. And this is different from yesterday. You can see the parts of some of it, different parts of the brain. So it looks different. And that has to make you feel good. You got a whole command center, and now you are learning how to use your command center. You yourself personally, can't nobody take this away from you. Dr. D.O. Gibson said, can't nobody take what they put up here. You put up here. And I understand you got Alzheimer's and all. I'm saying in general, okay? You put it up here and stand up here. Use it or lose it. Create those neural pathways. So be coachable. So how did we get here? The Dr. Donna quote in my book about be coachable is, in order to be coached, you need to be coachable. And I was not coachable. I was a track star in my neighborhood. So when I went back to go run track for the real time, I didn't listen to Miss Smiley. I wasn't using them starting blocks. It was awkward. I couldn't figure out how to do it. My ass kept losing. I kept getting smoked. So she made it mandatory for us to start using the starting blocks. I started using the starting blocks. I stopped coming in last. Now I wasn't grand. I did letter and track and cross country, but people had already been running 4 years. They was faster, much better than me. But my point was to go back and finish what I started, letter and track and cross country, and that's what I did. Ran a couple relays, won a couple races, learned how to long jump and all of that. So you got to be coachable. That's how this principle of real leadership came into play, because I was not listening to you. Fuck you. You ain't telling me what I want to hear. I'm out. I know how to do this move. I'm 17 years old. I know exactly. I'm 18. I'm 22. Ain't got and their frontal lobe, but I know I got this. Move out the way. No. So you have to be coachable. All right. So what part of the brain do you use to be coachable? Regina, I'm glad you asked. So being coachable involves multiple parts of the brain working together simultaneously, especially those tied to self-awareness, emotional regulation, cognitive flexibility, and empowerment. Now, I believe, and this is just a theory, that with the principles of real leadership, the amygdala is going to keep popping up. The amygdala is going to keep popping up because, as I said yesterday, embrace change. Everything that I'm telling you, you're going to have to change in order for you to go from unaccountable to personally accountable. And that amygdala is going to fire off. Say, hold up, wait, what you doing? No, stop, threat. Saber-toothed tiger. Look at that doggone Tyrannosaurus Rex over there. Do you see that crocodile? Ooh, my goodness, the dark. Oh, my goodness, the light, the sun, the heat. You ain't got no money. Ah! It's going to be there tapping you on your shoulder like, hey, man, you sure? No. Don't do that. So the first portion of your brain that you're going to be using is the prefrontal cortex. And that function is decision-making, planning, self-regulation, and perspective taking. Let me reflect. Let me gather this information in, and let me make sure I am doing what I need to do. Inhibition control is located in the executive function of your brain, and that tells you what to do and what not to do. Keep you in line, okay? Check yourself. Now, the role in being coachable with the prefrontal cortex, also referred to as PFC, is it helps you process feedback. It suppresses defensiveness, which is this thing right here, going to make you be defensive, and consider alternative ways of thinking or behaving, okay? It's going to get rid of the biases and the isms, okay? That's what it's going to do. In the PFC, it's going to say, nah, we always did it that way. The reason why they don't like me is because I'm black. The reason why they don't like me is because I'm a woman. I didn't get promoted because I'm old. Or your working memory is old and outdated. Not you, just your working memory. Because you can be 35 and that working memory stops working and you didn't get promoted. You didn't get the job. 35 ain't old. But your working memory could be like, yeah, I'm done. I'm retired. So the prefrontal cortex helps with all of that. You'll be able to get feedback. You're not going to pop off like a crazy person like I used to do. And you're going to consider alternative ways of thinking and behaving. That's the 74 principles of real leadership. Alternative ways of thinking and behaving. The definition of insanity is to keep doing the same shit day in and day out and expecting a different result. I have said you did not learn how to be personally accountable in school. You did not learn how to use your brain. So everything that I'm telling you to do, and you want some familiarity, like we said with the hippocampus yesterday, you want to go back to your long-term memory and say, where did I see this and hear this before? You haven't. So stop. You got to create it. You got to create it. So you need to be coachable. The next one is you're going to be using the anterior cingulate cortex. Okay. And that is for error detection, conflict monitoring, and emotional awareness. It's going to, so if you think about, you got the hijacked amygdala over here, but you got the ACC over here saying, hey, hold up, calm down, sit down, chill out. And so the role in being coachable with the ACC is it helps you recognize when your actions or beliefs may be off track and stay open to course correction. We used to call it on-the-spot correction when I was in the military. So your belief system, your confirmation bias, your conformity bias, and everything else could be wrong, okay? And so the ACC is saying, yeah, don't be racist. Don't be misogynistic. Don't be one of the phobics. Don't mismanage your money. Don't do that. Don't come and say, we a family of bad creditors. We can't read and we always overweight. And yeah, we do shiesty. I'm fourth generation shiesty. No, the ACC says stop that. You need to learn how to do the right thing. Go back up here and visit the prefrontal cortex and change that damn behavior. Okay, don't have this comfort cocoon, and that's just what it is. And so, yes, it is helping you recognize when your actions or belief may be off track and stay open to course correction. I could not continue to walk around with a steel bat and a tire iron as a second lieutenant military police officer in the United States Army. ACC said, put that shit down. Stop threatening people. Okay? Stop that. That's bad, Lieutenant Thomas. Okay? So yeah, so my hijacked amygdala said, yeah, you stepped on my shoe, it's on and popping. And they say today it's on site. Meet me outside. You understand what I'm saying? Air and opportunity. But the ACC, you know what I'm saying? Calm me down. So I don't do that anymore. Number 3 is the amygdala. Here it is, the emotional processing, especially fear and defensiveness. Now, when I was a young second lieutenant in my early 20s, I did not like feedback. If you gave me some feedback, I thought you was talking about me, you was fucking with me, and I was ready to fight. I didn't understand feedback. I didn't understand the benefits of it, and I did not want to be coached or anything else, okay? I was the shit. If you told me something else other than that, you was going to have a problem with me. So the role in being a coachable with the amygdala is when overreacting, it can trigger defensive reactors to feedback. So being coachable involves calming this response. React versus respond. I was very reactionary when people were trying to coach me, and I was very defensive, hijacked amygdala, and now you might have even become one of the people on my enemies list, which is no bueno, okay? So you're going to have to quiet the amygdala. Number 4 is the insular cortex, and they call it the insula. And so the function, you see it right there? Okay. It is self-awareness and empathy. Empathy, right? Like, what the hell? Why should I need empathy with being coachable? That don't make sense. But again, you got to change your thinking. All right. So the role of the insula is it helps you tune into your own emotional state and understand how others perceive you. It's important for receiving feedback with grace. So because I was such a person, I didn't have empathy. I didn't understand that trying to talk to me was difficult for the other person. They trying to tell me something and I'm ready to, oh, fuck you. That's not good. So the insula says, hey, doc, listen, come on, let them talk to you. Give them some grace and hear what they have to say. Let them coach you because they want you to be your best. All right. And then the last one is the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. And it's on my drawing. It's up here inside of the prefrontal cortex. It's part of it. So it functions by using your working memory and your cognitive flexibility. It functions by using your working memory and your cognitive flexibility. And cognitive flexibility is okay, I got to adapt to change. This environment is moving and changing, and so let me change right along with it. So the role in this is that it supports your ability to shift strategies, consider new ideas, and apply what you learn from the coaching. So you getting this information, the working memory is processing it, and the cognitive flexibility is saying, okay, I used to have the bat and the tire iron. Put both of those down and learn how to use my words. Got it. I used to not use the starting blocks. I'm losing. I'm embarrassing myself. Let me go ahead and now you put your hand here and you got to put your knee here. And okay, cool. Push off, come up, and go ahead and get on and get to the finish line as fast as possible. So the 5 areas, again, that you are using for your brain are the prefrontal cortex and the ACC, the anterior cingulate cortex, the amygdala, the insular cortex, and we call it the insula, and then the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. So what questions do you have about the brain activity that takes place when you are being coachable? If it's clear to Bell, clear. If it's not, ask me to repeat something, because this is important for your brain and your 86 billion neurons. And remember, if you're thinking ... and if you're really thinking, type your brain up, use your phone, the device you're on, use a brain emoji, anything. Is the chat working? Let me see. Okay, no said no questions. Got it. Anyone else before we move on? All right, Regina said no questions. Okay. Lola's probably working. Okay, so in summary, being coachable is not just about listening. It's about using your executive function, the prefrontal cortex up there, managing your feelings, use the amygdala, that doggone emotional processing, recognizing areas, which is your ACC, and staying aware and adaptable. So you're going to use the insula and the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. So those two go together. And so you train these areas through mindfulness and listening, humility, and growth. So you're training, you're using those neurons to connect, to train the brain to use these different aspects. And with the synapse, you can do local, or you can go and send messages. So the prefrontal cortex sends messages to the insular cortex in order for you to make sure that you are being aware. So prefrontal cortex is talking to all the other parts, communicating and creating connectivity with the other portions of the brain. So it's working together. These areas of the brain are working together so that you can actually be coachable. So here are some brain-based exercises and practices to strengthen your coachability. Now, you are targeting key brain regions involved in openness, flexibility, and emotional regulation. I'm going to say that again. Openness, flexibility, and emotional regulation. Because if your amygdala feels like it's hijacked, you're not going to listen to the person providing coaching. It's not going to happen. You're going to shut down all this access to all of these areas. It's not going to take place. And then the next thing you know, you're going to be sitting somewhere blaming everybody else when you didn't create the neural pathway to be coachable. So you have to be coachable. You have to be open to hearing, listening, and be humble enough to have a growth mindset to say, this person has my best interest at heart. Now, disclaimer. Do not listen to unaccountable people who don't have proven results and are not doing the thing that you want to do. So do not listen to your gaslighting parents to tell you how to do something. That's not be coachable. They don't have a fucking clue. Okay. So people that know how to use their brain and who know how to do the thing, they have proven track record, proven results in the thing that they are coaching you on. That's who you are actually listening to. Not some thought leader, not some expert, but somebody with receipts, aka results. Those are the people that you actually listen to. Okay. So not just any and everybody, not some celebrity that's just dropping some information, and because they have an Oscar, you're listening to them about financial planning, even though they have 2 accountants and 6 lawyers and agents that negotiated all them damn deals. You listen to them about business. No, okay? They got to be the person, not their people, but them themselves personally, okay? So you listen to the people who actually know what the hell they're talking about. All right. Here are some brain-based exercises and practices to strengthen your coachability. And we're going to start with the prefrontal cortex with the decision-making and self-regulation. So the exercise is this. In the event that and this is also you can be coachable, okay? So remember, that is the principle of real leadership, the neural pathway that you are creating. So the exercise is a delayed reaction practice. So when receiving feedback, pause for 3 deep breaths before responding. Pause for 3 deep breaths. So someone is attempting to do an on-the-spot correction. They're providing coaching for you, and all you hear is you fucked up. Amygdala gets hijacked, and now you're ready to go hamburger. No, just take 3 deep breaths. Just and not be. Don't do that. That's not the same thing. That's seething anger and you getting ready to pop off. No, real calm, woosah, think tranquil. You know what I'm saying? Bohemian chic, sitting on the beach somewhere, looking at the sunrise. Okay? So 3 calming deep breaths. And then you're going to ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What can I learn from this? My pleasure, Lola. What can I learn from this? Okay? So if somebody say, yeah, well, see, back in the day, what we used to do was Chanel hat, and then we had a, no, you're not going to learn nothing from that. Okay? When somebody start talking about back in the day, they just giving you an opinion. When they say, well, here's what I used to do, or I've been doing this for 20 years, and here's how this process has changed over time, now you can say, okay, what can I learn from this? So consider the source before you start taking notes. And why does this work? Because it builds emotional control and thoughtful response by engaging the prefrontal cortex instead of reacting impulsively. So what's going to happen is someone starts coaching you. Ordinarily in the past, you go right to the amygdala, fight, flight, freeze, or appease. But the breaths are going to say, don't go to the amygdala. Do not get your amygdala hijacked. Let's go ahead and stay in the prefrontal cortex, the PFC. We're going to breathe. And we'll use our working memory because somebody is giving me information. So it's time to learn so I can drop that information in my hippocampus and keep using it. I'm going to create this new neural pathway, and then I'm going to become skilled in this thing. So that's how that process works. Okay. Next, you use the ACC, which is the anterior cingulate cortex. And this is, again, for error detection and awareness. So the exercise is fail forward. Okay, you're going to fail forward. And at the end of each day, especially when you are in a coaching time or coaching season in your life, you're going to ask yourself 2 questions, which you are right now, okay, in case you didn't know. This is one of them seasons. You're going to ask yourself, what is one thing that I could have done better? One thing. So you get to the end of your day, you're going to self-assess. What is one thing that I could have done better today? One thing. You're not going to go down the rabbit hole of beating yourself up. Just going to say one thing. And then, what is one lesson that I learned? And remember, we've already talked about this. I asked you at the end of the live, so that neural pathway should be already there. What is one lesson that I learned? What is one lesson? If you go to sleep and you haven't learned anything, you had a bad day. I don't care if you made $1 million. If you didn't learn anything, you had a bad day because you didn't give your working memory something new to work with. So it was an epic fail of a day. Because you can learn what to do and what not to do. You be like, damn, that shit was terrible. That's a bad idea. I ain't doing that no more. You still learned. Okay? So you go to sleep smarter than you woke up. Wiser. More information. More knowledge. So that's the anterior cingulate cortex, ACC. And why it works? Because it strengthens your ability to notice growth opportunities without self-judgment. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. It strengthens your ability to notice growth opportunities without self-judgment. Okay? So yeah, with your 86 billion neurons, you have the ability to notice your own growth opportunities. Your own growth opportunities without somebody identifying your flaws and your defects of character. You can do that yourself. I had to realize, put the bat and the tire iron down. Okay, stop. You're not in the hood no more. Okay, all right. Don't do that no more. But that is about growth. That's without the self-judgment. So mentally beating yourself up after someone coaches you, you have messed up the entire coaching process. That means you're sitting here and you didn't regulate your emotions over here in the ACC. So now you're sitting somewhere in a comfort cocoon with a hijacked amygdala plotting to try to get somebody back for them trying to help you. Okay? So don't do that. Okay? Self-reflection. You want to be able to look at and assess your own growth opportunities without any judgment whatsoever. I don't know as much about the brain as the people who already been studying the brain for years. I've been studying the brain since October. I'm not going to beat myself up for pronouncing a word wrong. I'm not going to beat myself up for having to go and course correct and say, oops, that part of the brain is actually over here. I'm not about to do that because I am connecting already sound information that actually works. And I'm saying, how do we get 6.8 billion adults to start holding themselves personally accountable? That's why I got a brain t-shirt on, because it's neurological. Okay, number 3 is the amygdala. There she goes. There she goes. The amygdala is the emotional processing center. Yes, it's part of it. And so here is the practice. Mindful feedback intake. Mindful, so you can be present. So you're going to practice mindful meditation. And if you don't know how to do it, we're on YouTube right now. Check out some videos. Go get to your app store and get some apps to download. Check out TikTok. People have that information. Find an article, whichever way you learn best. I don't want to tell you use this app because it's the best app. You need to do that on your own because it also shows you that you're going to find information that you need, which is, if you don't know, ask. That's one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So you need to ask Grok. I was about to say TikTok. You can, but Grok or ChatGPT or any of the other AIs that will give you information. Now, when you feel triggered by feedback, say silently, this is not a threat. This is an opportunity. This is not a threat. This is an opportunity. So if someone is coaching you, tell yourself. And when you are practicing mindfulness daily and meditating daily, it's easier to tap into that very quickly. And so don't go here, course correct. It's not a threat. It's all good. They're just giving me some feedback and some coaching, some skills and some development so that I can become my best. And why this works is because it trains your brain to reduce threat perception and emotional reacting. It trains your brain to stop saying, that's a threat, that's a threat. You got a threat, you got a threat, you got a threat, you got a threat, you got... No, everything is not a threat. Everything is not a threat, okay? So it's training you, hold up, is this really a saber-tooth tiger? Is this really a doggone Tyrannosaurus Rex? No, it's a puppy coming to get pet, roll on his back, and rub his belly, okay? So that's what it's allowing you to do. Now, number 4 is the insular cortex, and this is for empathy and self-awareness, okay? So the exercise is perception shift. And here we are with reframing again. Steve Jobs, they referred to it as reality distortion, whatever you got to do to see it differently. So after reviewing the feedback, write it down. Write it down. Whatever the coaching was, go write it down. And how the other person might see the situation, and then how that view could help you grow. So you review the feedback, and then you're going to look at it from their perspective. So that's where the empathy comes in. Devil's advocate, if you will, if you need to still tap into your negativity bias, okay? And then how could that help you grow? So that perspective. So I am here telling you negativity bias is hardwired into your brain. The isms, the programming, the biases, and everything is hardwired into your brain. And I am telling you that at best, on your bestest brain day, when you are in the land of Loserville, around unaccountable people, you're only going to be able to get to 70%. That's it. Consistently, day in and day out, you're going to be operating at 70%. Why, Dr. Donna? Because you're not using the 86 billion neurons. You're not using the theory of personal accountability and the 74 principles of real leadership. So it's not going to work. You're not going above and beyond. You're not be the best. You're not setting, inspect what you expect. You're not setting and maintaining high standards. You're not holding yourself and others personally accountable to become your best. So at best, at most, you're going to be 70%. Now that's going to hurt your feelings. Be honest is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So in order for you to get that other 30%, in order for you to access that 100% day in and day out, you're going to need to hold yourself personally accountable. We had some conversations yesterday at the end of the live. I wanted to understand why people ain't in the 30-day challenge. Still not a good answer. Still didn't have people be in a 30-day challenge yesterday, which is still like, okay, you must not want to learn how to use your brain. Okay, cool, got it. Roger that. Stop coming on the lives and doing nothing because the shit is not going to work. That's the other thing that I'd like to say. Watching me on the lives is not going to get you access to your unlimited neural pathways. It's not going to happen. So you want to take this wise counsel in, this coaching, and then sit down and say, why is she saying that? What could she possibly gain from this? If this person, is she for me or against me? And that's what I say in the book when people are giving you feedback. Are they friend or foe? You got to figure that out for yourself. But why this works is because it builds empathy and insight. And both are essential for taking coaching without the defensiveness. So your natural inclination, because your brain is hardwired for negativity bias, and because I'm not doing pimp shit to go ahead and get you some manufactured dopamine, I'm not telling you what you want to hear. I even have a Dr. Donna quote, is I'm going to always tell you what the truth. If you want to be lied to, go to the bar at 1 a.m. You're going to hear all kind of shit. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. That's what's going to happen. And so you need to use your insular cortex to understand what's taking place and see it from a different perspective. See it from my perspective. Why would I spend this much time studying the brain, giving you all these resources and everything else if I had ill intentions? But the biases say it. If it doesn't look like the picture in your head, if it doesn't come to you like it has been in the past, if your hippocampus can't draw some somatic markers from it, then you think there must be something up with this. There is. You need to change your mind. And I know how to market. I know how to do all of that because I learned that the wrong way first. And I'm doing this on purpose. So you have to see something different. That lets you know this is different. Okay. Number 5, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. That's your cognitive flexibility. Cognitive flexibility is part of the executive function of working memory and inhibition control. Okay. So, excuse me. So here's the practice. Try it on. Try it on. A mental flex. So choose one piece of coaching advice that you would normally resist and commit to applying it for 3 days. Commit to applying it, excuse me, for 3 days. Just say it. Just try it for 3 days. And then after that, reflect on what worked or didn't. What worked. So you're going to go back to, excuse me. Wow. Give me 1 second. This air. We got bad air today. So you're going to reflect on it. You're going to do your self-awareness. And you're going to check it out. You're going to go in the ACC and reflect. Now, why does this work? Because it builds mental agility and reduces the rigidness in your thinking. So, in order for you to understand what I'm saying, you're going to have to try it. You're actually going to have to do a 30-day challenge. Because otherwise, you're going to say, no, I don't know. I don't trust it. She over here trying to get my money. You can't do a lot with $30 in $25 at all. I don't even know if you can have dinner for 2 at a restaurant. Maybe like a mid fast food restaurant, but that's not the case. So that's what you want to do, is try it on, take what people are saying. I'm using myself as an example, but anybody, and just do it for 3 days and then reflect to see what worked and what didn't work. And now here's your bonus. Your bonus is your neurochemical boost, which is your BDNF, and that's your brain derived neurotropic factor, and plus dopamine. What did you say, Dr. Donna? You will get some dopamine from coaching? How? Glad you asked, Nola. Because you're going to exercise. Moving plus reflection. Moving plus reflection. So after receiving the feedback, take a 10-minute brisk walk while mentally reviewing what you heard. So you got the coaching, you're like, okay, cool. And if it's cold, inclement weather, go walk in the mall. Go walk inside. And if it's too hot, then just go walk inside again. Okay? But if it's cool enough, and I'm saying that because it's like 111 degrees here the other day, stay in the shade. Walk around the parking lot. Walk around the building. Walk around your house. Walk around your apartment. Because the movement plus the reflection increases your BDNF. And that's your brain's growth factor. That's that nice little fertilizer that creates that learning environment for you to be able to flourish, get these new neural pathways and neuroplasticity as well as neuromobility. And it reinforces new learning. So your working memory is going to like it. You're going to feel good. You're going to walk. You're going to get a dopamine boost, a natural dopamine boost. And you're going to be able to reflect and not be emotional, but actually course correct and actually take that advice, that information, and grow forward. So what are the benefits of being coachable? Before I get into that, what questions do you have about the practices to strengthen your coachability? You're going to use the prefrontal cortex, so you're going to delay your reaction time. And by taking 3 deep breaths, you're going to use the ACC. You're going to fail forward. So you're going to ask yourself, what's one thing that I could have done better today? And then what's the lesson that I learned? Then you're going to use the amygdala. So you're going to do mindfulness, and you're going to go ahead and relax when people say things to you so you won't be triggered, and just say, all right, cool, let me hear what you got to say. Got it, this person. And you're going to tell yourself that this is not a threat. It is an opportunity. And you're going to use your insular cortex, so the empathy, and just think about, this person is trying to give me this information, so let me just write it down, see it from their perspective. How could this help? The dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, you're going to try it on for 3 days. If you like it, use it. If you don't, discard it. And then you're going to do your BDNF, and that's your ability to take what somebody said, go on a walk and reflect. And now you're going to see if you can use that information and how it applies. Okay, now we're coming around third, and we're going to talk about the benefits of being coachable, because there are always benefits when you are talking to Dr. Donna. So being coachable unlocks powerful personal, professional, and neurological benefits. Powerful, personal, professional, and neurological benefits. Who knew that there were all these benefits to being coachable? Now, here's what I will say. Somebody, please, for the sake of the group, Google how many life coaches are there in the world. How many life coaches are there in the world? Or chat. I'm going to start saying research instead of Google. Regina, 109,200 from Google. Okay, yes. Certified practitioners, yes, and I have that same answer. Okay. Yes. So we have 109,200 people saying I'm a coach in the world. Okay? That's what they're saying. Okay? It takes you like a couple weeks to get a coaching certificate. So again, just because someone says I'm a coach, I'm not telling you to go to a coach. I'm saying if you are a new teacher and there's a teacher in your building that's been a teacher for 50 years, that's the coach that you want to go talk to. You in business and that person has been in their same job since they put the first brick on the building. That's the person that you want to hear some information from. Now, if they're cantankerous and old and crotchety, no. But normally, if you just sit down, bring them a donut, cup of coffee or something, you're going to get some information. They're going to say, baby, I've been watching you for 2 years now. Let me tell you what's going on. So you want to get the information for you yourself personally. So when you have a coach and they're giving you generic information and they can't tell you your specific situation and coach you on how you need to get this done the best way possible, then that's not the person that you need to be talking to. Okay. So don't go off now and say, well, I'm about to go to a coaching workshop. I'm about to go to it, because that information is pretty generic. Okay. I can, with 9 people on this live, y'all can all ask me an individual question and I would be able to tell you what you need to do in that instance, or tell you what you need to research in order to get your information. Okay. So Jessica said of 2004, there are an estimated 1,200 certified life coaches worldwide. The number represents a significant increase, more than doubling the international coaching study. Right. So there are more people becoming coaches. That doesn't mean that those people have the information. It just means that more people are being certified as a coach. So people say, you know how to do this, you should become a coach. And they are becoming a coach. That's not who the hell I'm talking about, because they're going to be at 70%. So it's creme de la creme. You understand what I'm saying? You got Bill Belichick and then you got Marcus Freeman. They are not the same type of coaches. Okay? Not the same type of coaches at all. So you want to go get the creme de la creme. You want to go get the Chuck Dailies of the world. You know what I'm saying? What's her name from Louisiana? I can't think of her name, the women's basketball coach. But you want to go and get somebody that's awesome and giving you that doggone information. Okay. So that's just a side note. Now, being coachable unlocks powerful personal and professional and neurological benefits. So here are those benefits. Number 1, cognitive and emotional benefits. And there are 3. Kim Mulkey. Yes, cognitive and emotional benefits. And Dawn Staley is another one. Number 1, you're going to have faster personal growth. What did I say? You're going to have faster personal growth. So you adapt quicker by learning from others' experiences. You adapt quicker. So somebody who's already had that experience and say, hey, this is how you do this. You listen, you're going to adapt faster, quicker. Okay. And it helps build stronger neural pathways for resilience, reflection, and flexibility. So now you go home every day. What could I have done better? Okay, and what did I learn today? Okay, so you start doing that and it expedites those neural pathways because you are using them every single day, day in and day out. Next, it improves your self-awareness. Part of the reason why some of the things that I'm saying to you seem foreign is because you don't have self-awareness. You're not using your frontal lobe to access your personality on a day-to-day basis. So you don't know who you are. So I'm talking to the real you, and your facade, your representative is like, who's she speaking to? I don't think not, Dr. Donna. No, I'm talking to you, the real you. Underneath all that accoutrements, all that shit, that garb and shit, that's who I'm actually talking to. So you gain deeper insights into your strengths and your blind spots. I'm real good at finding someone's blind spot. I call it the Achilles heel, and I just put my 4.1-inch stiletto right on it and say, this is your fucking problem right here. Not them, it's you, boo-boo. You your problem. And it strengthens your insula. So your self-awareness center. So right here, your insular cortex. Remember, who am I? Where am I? That's me. That's what it does for you. Okay. And then number 3 is its stronger emotional regulation. This little motherfucker right here, you get to regulate that. Okay. So being coachable trains your brain to manage feedback without overreacting, and it helps reduce hijacked amygdala. Okay, you become less defensive, and more composed. It's gonna keep you. If you got a problem popping off, you need to strengthen your emotional regulation. Now, the second one on the list. So again, for your cognitive and emotional benefits, it's a faster for your personal growth. It improves self-awareness, and it creates a stronger emotional regulation. Now, number 2 under the benefits is professional and performance benefits. Number 1 is going to accelerate your skill development. What you say, Dr. Donna? Yeah, it's going to accelerate your skill development. So you're going to be able to close gaps in knowledge or behaviors more quickly. So the gaps that you have in knowledge. Now, see, they sending everybody to training. They're not sending you to training because your working memory is unemployed. You're not getting the information because you haven't demonstrated your openness to wanting any information. And you are not going to be able to close the gaps in the things that are stopping you from going forward. But if you keep getting coached, you're going to have skill development. And it also leads to mastery in areas that matter to your goals. I am learning about the brain exponentially faster than I would have had I said, yeah, fuck that. So you telling me all this work I've been doing for 12 years, and now I got to go fucking learn about the brain too? This is bullshit. Fuck that. Y'all just need to learn how to hold yourself. If you learn how to hold yourself personally accountable, then I wouldn't have to learn how to teach you how to use your brain for you to learn how to hold yourself personally accountable. See how that don't make no damn sense? So yes, I got to learn about the brain so I can understand and tell you why you're not using your brain to hold yourself personally accountable to become your best. So every day I'm studying all kind of stuff so I can tell you the information that you need so you can actually become personally accountable, because now you understand why it's limited and it ain't got nothing to do with the biases, the isms, or nothing else. And then number 2 is the increased trust and respect. So because you are coachable, colleagues and leaders are more willing to invest in you. People around you are saying, okay, this person is coachable, not manipulating, not gaslighting, but they can see that there is something inside of you that says, yes, I want this information and I'm going to use this information. And coachable people, excuse me 1 second, my nose is running. All right, y'all know I'm a germaphobe, right? Okay, got it. So it increases the trust and respect. So colleagues and leaders are more willing to invest in you. And coachable people are seen as humble, growth-oriented, and dependable. Coachable people are seen as humble, growth-oriented, and dependable. And so what that means is oftentimes people try to question my credentials, as we had someone on here yesterday or the day before saying you ain't in school and all that, because people don't understand the humility from being a real leader. That I don't have to be braggadocious. Do I have confidence? Absolutely. Do I have command presence? Yes. But I don't have to every day list, and because I'm this, I did it. I forget half the shit. Nola gets on me because she's like, "Why you didn't tell me that? I didn't even know about that." I'm like, "Look, it's a lot of stuff I did. I forgot about that shit." So anyway, like she reminds me that I was in the reserves when I was in high school, and I was the only person in the school that was actually in the army while the war was popping off. Desert Storm. So, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that part." Okay, cool. So anyway, my point is, when you are being coached, you can be humble. When I am at appointments with Nola, I'm being coached. I don't know what's happening. She has to tell me what's happening. I can get information from anybody. I've mentioned this before. When Caillou used to come on, I took watched the whole episode of Caillou and walked away with some information. So number 3, under professional performance benefits, greater opportunities. Greater opportunities. So coachable individuals are more likely to be promoted, mentored, selected for high stakes projects, and given business opportunities. Because I was coachable, I got in rooms, like I said, that people would be like, how did you, because I'm coachable. And it's not sycophanting, it's not brown nosing, apple polishing, or anything. It's a genuine wanting to have this information to become your best. So I'm always saying, okay, should I be in that room or that room? Which way should I go so that I can get the information that I need? Because I'm always focused on my goal and the thing that I'm working on. And it's also seen as low risk, high potential contributions. So because you are coachable, people are not like, yeah, but if I tell her dumbass, is it going to work? Probably not. No, like, tell her. That's a return on your investment every day, all day. And then it's a high potential. Meet your potential is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So there's going to be a return on investment. Number 3, under professional performance benefits is this. Relational and, no, I'm sorry, I apologize. That's it for number 2. Number 3, relational and leadership benefits. So you mean there's going to be some relational and some leadership benefits from being coachable? Absolutely. Number 1, you're going to have better relationships. You're going to become easier to work with and lead. So you're going to have better relationships. And coachability signals emotional intelligence, and it aligns with the group, the team, or your individual self. So emotional intelligence, and people are saying emotional intelligence. It is. If you're coachable, now you're going to present yourself as someone with emotional intelligence. Why? Because you are over here in your self-awareness right here. So you're every day, what do I need to do better? What did I learn? So because of that, you're going to have better relationships, because you're not going to be blaming other people and saying, I'm perfect, I ain't do shit. You're not going to be doing that loser shit, credit and blame. You're going to take real responsibility and accountability for all that you do and all that you fail to do. And then number 2, under relational and leadership benefits, is that modeling a growth mindset. So you lead by example and empower others to grow. You lead by example. I show that I'm coachable. I asked yesterday Sabrina for feedback. I asked everybody for feedback. Sabrina was the only one that gave detailed feedback from that process. And I'm okay with that. I am okay with getting feedback. When people decide they're no longer going to participate in real leadership, they get a closeout survey. And one of the questions on there is, what needs to be improved? Because regardless if you stay or go, I am still here, and I need to keep improving to ensure that my working memory is working and that I am offering the best that I can to the students who have decided, yes, I want to learn about this and I'm going to be a lifelong learner. And it also builds psychological safety with those you interact with and live with, work with. So it is, I got a growth mindset. I'm always looking to lead and empower, and I'm also going to build this safetyness of like, yeah, she's going to be coachable. You can give her feedback. She's not going to shut down. She's not going to go back to 1992 and go get a bat and tie her arm to beat the shit out of you. Absolutely not. Those years are behind her. Number 4 is long-term brain health and adaptability. Long-term brain health. Being coachable is going to make your brain healthy. So number 1, you're going to have stronger neuroplasticity. Stronger neuroplasticity. So feedback-driven reflection keeps your brain agile and adaptable. Your brain is going to be agile and adaptable. Your working memory is going to keep working because people are giving you feedback, and it's going to make you reflect. They're going to coach you, reflect, and it's going to make you malleable. So this amygdala is not going to be hijacked, because it's going to be a neural pathway to say, shut up, it's not a saber-tooth tiger, it's actually feedback. We're going to get coaching information so that we can continue to adapt and change, because that's what makes it flexibility. That's what makes you nimble. When you're sitting in a comfort cocoon, you are not agile, you are not flexible, you are stuck with your stuck Millie and your family, and you're doing like this. Just think of a baby swaddled, a newborn baby. They can't move, they can't roll or do anything. And that's how you live in your life. But when you become coachable, now you got the ability, you're nimble, you're adjustable, you're agile, you're adaptable, and now you can continue to grow forward. And it encourages lifelong learning and mental flexibility. That's what being personally accountable is all about. I'm a lifelong learner, and I have mental flexibility, cognitive flexibility in the executive function of my brain, because I am willing to learn and change and do detours and everything else along this path that is called personal accountability. And then number 2 of long-term brain and health adaptability, this is the final one for today, it reduced stress through openness. So you're going to have a reduction in stress, and we know that one of the 74 principles of real leadership is to eliminate stress. So coachable people don't carry as much resistance or ego weight. And I like that term, ego weight. You're so damn heavy because your ego is so big, okay? So coachable people don't carry as much resistance or ego weight. One of the 74 principles of real leadership is carry only what you need. And then It also lowers internal tension and boosts well-being. Because you are in mindfulness, because you are doing self-reflection, because you are not living in this heavy-ass hijacked amygdala state, you have the ability to have a high-functioning, healthy brain. So in summary, being coachable, and here's the math for you. Being coachable equals brain growth plus career growth plus relationship growth. When you are being coachable, on the other side of that equation, this is what it's equal to: brain growth, career growth, and relationship growth. So it's a high leverage habit that creates internal peace and external opportunities. So being coachable gives you internal peace, and in return, you get external opportunities for being coachable. That's the benefits of it. So what questions do you have as we come to a close? So under cognitive, the benefits are under cognitive and emotional benefits. You're going to have faster personal growth. You're going to improve self-awareness, and you're going to be stronger emotional. You're going to have stronger emotional regulation. And then number two, you're going to have professional and performance benefits. So you're going to have accelerated skill development and increased trust and respect. And you're going to have greater opportunities. And then number three, you'll have relational and leadership benefits. So you're going to have better relationships. You're going to model a growth mindset. And then number four, the long-term benefits for your brain health and adaptability, stronger neuroplasticity, and reduced stress through openness. So you're going to have less stress. So being coachable, and that math problem is, or that math equation is, be coachable equals brain growth plus career growth plus relationship growth. So when you're coachable, that's what you're going to get on the other side. And it's a high leverage habit that creates internal peace and external opportunity. So when you create this neural pathway to be coachable, you're going to have internal peace, and externally, you're going to have all these opportunities. So what questions do you have about any of the information that I've reviewed today about Be Coachable? I'll move all the way out the way so you can see completely that this is your brain activity for you to be coachable. And again, any thoughts, brain, all of that. Mm-hmm. This image is, and the one yesterday, are compliments of ChatGPT. And that's what I wanted to say too. 5 years ago, none of this would have been possible because connections for lives weren't as easy as they are today, or connected as they are today. Because of AI, I have the ability to gather this very detailed, customized information and present it to you so you told them what you wanted. Yes, ma'am. Where's my note? Oh no, where did I put it? I can't find my poster right now, Miss Rogers, but when I do, I will, oh, it's the wrong color. So I asked for create a visual diagram of this brain activity while I was in chat. And so because I was already in there, this is the diagram that showed up. And yes, you can show chat what you want. Grok will do it too. All of them. That's part of it. Regina said this was a lot of information to process. Okay. Are you processing, or did you process? You're saying you processed it, or is still processing? And so there are 4 other people on the live. Lola is usually working. For the people who are here just looking, why y'all here? I'm just interested. Are you like taking copious notes and you're gonna do something with it? Like, what's up? When y'all gonna actually say something? Oh, Jessica's on here too. So that means it's 2 to 3 looky-loos. Jessica, I find it helpful to remind myself that I can't control the situation, just my reaction. Okay. All right. Before we get out of here, I've decided to do this just to make sure that you get it done because I love y'all. We're going to do our working memory exercise with our 4 numbers. All right, so how this works for the people who are new to this is the working memory loves to be worked. It does. Regina said, I'm glad to learn it, and I think this is valuable for those in the workforce. Wish I had access to it while working. I can still use this, be coachable in retirement. You can. You actually can, because now that you're retired, Virginia, people that are providing coaching for you may be younger than you, as we've said this before and throughout emails. And so them coaching can come from anybody. It's just someone who has expertise that you don't have, or someone is wanting the best for you. So they provide you with feedback that you can apply. So again, because we are all in different phases of our lives, we can have people younger than us, older than us, still giving us the information. Because at the end of the day, your objective is to be best. So whomever has the best information, that's who you can seek out. So sometimes it's given to you, it's an external interaction, and sometimes you're going to seek it out yourself. But both are coaching is coaching. So you could ask somebody, hey, and it's not the same as mentoring, and we've had conversations about that as well. Okay, so the working memory exercise is, I say you would normally do this, but I just want to make sure that it's getting done. I want to make sure that I'm getting it done. So you take 4 numbers, you say them out loud, you add 3 to every number, and then you say that number backwards. So I'm going to give you the 4 numbers. I'm recommending that you stay with numbers 0 through 6 initially until you get accustomed to doing this. But I say a 4-digit number, and this is mental, do not write it down. You take that number and you add 3 to each individual number, and then you say the number backwards. So I'm going to say the number twice, maybe 3 times, so you get it. Okay, so you take the 4 numbers, each individual number, you're adding 3 to each individual number, and then you're going to say that number backwards. So let's all fuck this up together. And I haven't done it. All I've done is wrote the number down. I did a random number and kept writing my notes. Okay, so the number is 0135. The number is 0135. Add 3 to each number and say it backwards. 0135. 0135. Okay. So the number you should have got was 8643. That is correct, Nola. Yes. And Nola wasn't on board a couple days ago, and here she is. So see how that did that? So as people have said, do Sudokus or everything else, and you could do it multiple times a day, but we're going to do it at the end of lives every day just to ensure that the working memory is working. Now, with that being said, and if you didn't get the numbers, okay, your working memory just needs some work. That's all. And you can practice with some more numbers, but keep the numbers under 6, because if you add 7, now you got 10 and all of that. So stay between 0 and 5. There's plenty of 0 and 6. There's plenty of combinations between 0 and 6. Combinations between 0 and 6. So the final 2 questions today are, what did you lost your computer, switch to phone. Okay, so the working memory number was 0135. 0135. And again, you take it, every individual number, you add it by 3, and then you say that number backwards. So the final, you tried this number, 0135. And again, it's just showing you where you are from a working memory perspective, and you can just do it multiple times a day, once a day, And like I said, starting today, we're going to do it at the end of every live just to ensure that it's gotten done. It's accountability for me and for you. The last 2 questions for today are the same 2 questions every day at the end of the lives. What did you learn today? And what did you learn about yourself? What did you learn today? And what did you learn about yourself? I learned that with 86 billion neurons, I'm not about to be listening to nobody else's excuses. That number right there just told me everything I need to know. And I learned about myself that I'm cool with ChatGPT and Grok because it is giving me the customized, individualized information that I need on a daily basis. So I do not think that AI is taking over. And quite frankly, if it did, it'd be better than these 6.8 billion unaccountable motherfuckers running around right now. Oh my God, I was behind in the live. Oh my God. What's that, Jessica? What do you mean? You saying you weren't at live with us? You was late to answer. It's okay. Regina said, I learned that being coachable can be exciting and personally rewarding. It can be. And that's the one thing that I will say about the 74 principles of real leadership. And again, I am up against negativity bias from 200,000 years of it and everything else in the world. So it is definitely swimming upstream as one of the 74 principles of real leadership can makes the impossible possible. Because people, if you think about it, we don't discuss our brain unless it's damaged, something's wrong with it, or it's deteriorating. So we don't even have brain conversations on a day-to-day basis. So if I start talking to people about their brain, here comes this little heifer right here, causing problems. No, don't let, no. Okay? And the ACC is just like, yo, give her a chance, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, give her a chance. And no, it's not happening. So it's a very interesting time in my life. Regina said 86 billion neurons. An astronomical number of neurons. Oh, it's an astronomical number of neurons. No reason for excuses. None. Like for me, if I had, I probably had this much tolerance to hear people out. And now I'm like, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. You got 86 billion neurons. Miss me with that nonsense. Yeah, don't want to hear it. How do I explain I was 1 minute delayed and had to click up to catch up the live? Okay, got it. You might have paused it or something. That happens. I paused me on my live and saw me way past what I was doing. It's all good. Yeah. So the point is, now that I know this, and again, if I were not continuously learning, if I got mad because now in my research, I got to learn how to use the brain. Like I already know how to do shit. Why I got to learn how to use the brain in order to teach people how to do this? Why can't people just hold themselves personally accountable? Y'all don't get this information. We don't get to hear. This time last year, I was talking about the doggone yes and no challenge and kicking people off my lives and out of my memberships because they was acting a damn fool. You've done that too all the time. Yes. Nola saying that happens for her. Nola says she needs to learn about the ACC. You down with ACC? Yeah, you know me. You down with ACC? Or you down with PFC? PFC. How can I explain it? I'll take it frame by frame. Okay. However, my brain is 95% song lyrics. Okay. So Regina said, however, because people aren't aware, it is easy to make excuses. It is easy, but I'm going to make them aware. I'm going to make them aware. I'm going to learn you today. You're going to learn today. Yes. I'm definitely going to make it possible for you to learn. So what it is doing for me is this empathy or this grace period that I was giving people because of all in background. No. You got it, baby. You walking around with 86 billion. You see, all of us are billionaires. We are all billionaires. Notice that I learned about myself that I can't jump to conclusions. I have to put things in my executive functions to be logical. That is correct. She causing problems. Her right there. Yes. And she is saying, stop that. So this is the older sibling, and this is the younger sibling. Okay? Or this is the parent, and this right here is the child. Throwing temper tantrum. No! Not listening. You're going to listen. Stop that. I feel empowered. Empower others is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. And Jessica, do you have your, okay, yep. There's a difference in making excuses and giving grace in situations. There actually is, but I don't have too much grace left. Perimenopausal allows me to only do so much grace in any given day before I lose it. So I have to save my grace for bigger shit than these things. So for me, and I'm just leading by example, is that life is ever evolving when you want it to, when you're holding yourself personally accountable. As I come in contact, I have 5 more days before I get to my 15th year of being happily released from my corporate job, freeing myself. Get the shackles off my feet. I want to leave. I'm just going to go. Yes. So I left. And I haven't looked back. I'm not Lot's wife. I do not look back. I never, ever walked in the grocery store and said, damn, look at those Doritos. I should have stayed. Absolutely not. It has been an interesting 15 years. And I would have never thought that I'd be sitting in front of you, basically telling you about the brain, having left food and beverage. Not at all. I was Dr. Donna, but never would have thought that this is what it would lead to. But because I'm coachable, because of cognitive flexibility and me increasing my working memory, here we are. And now you too can become a bad mofo because you got 86 billion neurons and you can do it, but it's going to take work. It is not going to be effortless. It's going to be efforted. And so if you believe that this is too much for you, then you can't complain. Because once you have this information, you can't unhear what I'm saying. Like, yeah, ain't nobody got time for all that. Okay, well, what you got time for? You got 2 hours to scroll on the internet. You got 15 hours. Football season is a couple, maybe 100 and something days away. College football sooner than the NFL. You'll be glued to the television. You can binge watch doggone Netflix and everything else. You can binge watch your damn brain. You can binge watch the 74 Principles of Real Leadership playlist so that you can actually do something. So for me, what I know to be true and what's going to start happening is that when I start hearing people complain about stuff, I am going to tell them about their brain. I am going to tell them, no, it feels like you're in that situation, hijacked amygdala, but you need to come over here, and I'm going to error correct and then require that they go do some self-reflection, because that is how you are going to change your situation. There is nothing else. Nothing else. I'm not going to have conversations about racism and sexism and all of that, because we all have brains. And if you got 86 billion neurons and everybody starts using their 86 billion neurons in their command center, all that shit goes away. Why would I keep trying to eradicate the isms and the biases when I can say, let's course correct and start using the ACC and the PFC and the insula? Because that's what's actually going to change it. Eradicating it, how? You got to create a different neural pathway, because if you just say stop doing it, the brain is going to say, well, what you want me to do now? Replace it with what? Replace it with what? These things, personal accountability. That's the answer. Because now everybody is focused on what? Best, whatever they're doing. When I go to the doggone Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf to get my coffee, that barista is not being racist. She's a terrible employee. She is not giving me my best caramel breve extra hot decaf. She's just throwing some shit together. But if she was using all of this, I'm sure they told her that she's a bad employee, provided coaching. She'd have went home and say, damn, why I'm fucking up everybody's drink? Then everybody would be like, oh, God, she making the drinks today. I'm going to go to another Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf. Because that's what this is about. Your day in and your day out. Your day in and your day out. That's what it is. You're not experiencing best every day because the people around you are not focused on best. And you might not be focused on best either. But now you have the ability to do it because you have a command center that you walk around with all day long. And now it's time to learn how to use that command center. It's time to learn how to use it. So if you can't use it, then there really is no place for you over here. I'm not interested in solving your fucking mediocre, mundane ass problems. I'm telling you, once you start using your brain, that's just gonna fix itself. So, well, but I got a problem at work. Well, I got a problem with my kids. No, your problem is you're not using your command center appropriately and correctly. You haven't learned how to use it, and you're not using it to access best on a daily basis. That's your problem. You is your problem. Okay? You and your inability to use this gray matter. That's what the issue is. It's nobody else. It's not your parents. It's not anybody else. It's you. Will you have to grow through and get through some defects of character, breaks and generational curses and all that? Yeah. How you going to do it if you don't learn how to use this? If you don't create new neural pathways with those 86 billion neurons? How? How is it going to be fixed forever? Please explain it to me. No, don't, because it's going to be an excuse and I don't want to fucking hear it. So thank you for your time this morning. Tomorrow we will be back again with the next principle of real leadership. Again, showing you, we are in the show you, explain it. So now you can go off and think about it, self-reflect, use it. None of this happens without using your working memory all day long. Remember, the working memory is providing dozens, if not hundreds, of connections every hour, every day that you are awake and alive. That's a lot of damn working memory work. So if that thing is not working properly, your brain is not functioning properly. Okay? So go off. I think today is Friday. Have a fantastic Friday. God willing, higher power in the universe. I will be back tomorrow. Same time, same place. Safe space. Wait, and I'm taking the next step in activity, learning, and changing. I apologize for that, Jessica. And I'm taking the next steps in activity, learning, and changing. Got it. Okay. And Jessica, when is it that you signing up for a 30-day challenge? Because, yeah, when is that part happening? Because 100% can't happen on your own. And anybody else that's sitting here, you're not going to be able to do this by yourself. You don't know how to do it. You actually don't. So it's not going to happen at all. And I don't even like the fact that the slimy, grimy salespeople make it so it's like, there she go. Did she ask for some money? Did she? I didn't. I didn't. I'm not. I'm saying, when are you going to start learning how to use your brain as it was designed? When are you going to start being personally accountable to get this done? When you going to start doing the damn thing? Nothing I do is unreasonable at all. So, yeah. And for me, I don't believe it's the price. I personally believe y'all don't think y'all can do it. But you got 86 billion neurons. So at some point, you're going to have to take a leap of faith. Believe in yourself is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. I actually know the answer, why people don't. I just want to see if you're going to be honest and say what the actual answer is. I know why. I've been doing this for quite some time now. I've been doing this for quite some time. Exactly. Thank you, Jessica. See, that is that. That's why I have played around with this price for years. I'm like, nah, $1 a day. You remember they used to say feed the children for 65 cents a day? That's where the $1 a day came from. That commercial. It's like, yeah, $30. Easy peasy. Because people be like, yeah, that was too. And I'm saying, how many $1,000? That's a lot of damn money. $30. Like, shit. You can't buy a bottle of alcohol for $30. I don't think you can. I don't know how much alcohol costs, but I feel like it's more than $30 if you're getting a bigger portion of it. You know what I mean? 3 coffees in your coffee allowance for the week is more than that. Yeah. Yeah, in a hamburger restaurant, you do a DoorDash and it's that. But yeah, it's the commitment. I was gonna see if you were gonna say that. So go ahead and commit. All of y'all. Because y'all like, Dr. Donna don't play. So you can't just be signing up for her shit. She gonna make you actually do it. You don't just sign up and leave if it don't work out. You gonna have to, and I don't know if I'm ready for all of that. We'll stop complaining then. Either sit in your life, in your comfort zone, or be ready to commit to yourself. The commitment is to you. It's not to me. I'm just there as the person that's saying, yeah, you did it. Yeah, you did it. Yeah, you did it. Good job. You did it. But that's what it is. Thank you for saying that, Jessica, because that's what it is. It's not me. It's actually you. Ooh, every day back. Oh my God, I don't know about all that. You getting all serious and shit. This is a lot to do. Aren't you worth it? Aren't you worth you becoming your best version of you for you? The PA challenge. It's the PA challenge is what I recommend, because the rest of them, the last thing you want to do is those other ones, because those are video challenges. So the PA challenge is the first challenge to do. That's the one that's going to get your neural pathways going. That's the one that's behind the scenes. So, because there are video challenges and you got to work your way up to those for sure. Real Good Resources is that's like getting a doctorate. Okay. So I understand with the commitment, but I also understand that people can't commit as well. So it was a double message at that point. Yep. It's going to feel different. It's nothing that you've ever done before in your entire life, but you need to do the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. You will be different. And I can't tell you how you're going to be different, because individual results need to vary, and they do, because your brain is wired differently than anybody else's. Okay. So I will be back tomorrow, same time, same place, safe space, different brain t-shirt. You all go off and have a fantastic Friday. Take care, and make sure that your working memory is working. Go to sleep. Before you go to sleep, what could I have done better, and what did I learn? Y'all take care. Adios.